What's up, everybody? It's your favorite storyteller, Matt D. Talford. And today's video is covering the imagery or the symbolism in the artwork on the 400 Years t-shirt, which has been the best-selling t-shirt in the Talford Arts bookstore. It's actually, it is slowly inched ahead of the book From Fear to Faith, the Survivor Story, which is still selling well, given that we first published it about 4 years ago and the second edition about 2 years ago. But the 400 Years shirt has been very popular. So as you guys know, I've been running a contest where you had to tell me what the symbols were or what the symbolism meant in the shirt. I told you that the contest would be shut down Monday at 12 a.m. if I got no winners, and there were no winners. So as much as I would love to keep the competition running, you guys know from, if you watched my last video, why we had to go ahead and shut down the contest. So, but that's not a bad thing, because I'm going to explain to you what the symbolism means. And to be honest with you, if you're going to buy a shirt with a bunch of symbolism in it, you probably ought to know what it means, because someone may ask you, hey, what does that mean? So anyway, we're going to be going over that today. And at the end of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an announcement where I'm going to be giving away the t-shirt that is being used in the example. So without further ado, I'm going to take a short break, and I'm going to walk you over to the t-shirt, which is lying on the table, and explain what all those symbols are and what they mean. And for those of you that this video won't be up long, I'll keep it up for a little while, but then I'm going to direct you to the website, www.talfordarts.com, where I will have a link to a description of the symbolism in the 400 Years Commemorative t-shirt. So let me take a break, and when I come back, I'll show you the t-shirt and I'll show you the symbols. Okay, family, we are back. And here is the t-shirt as promised. I previewed this t-shirt for you guys in my last video. And if you've been to Talford Arts online bookstore, that's www.talfordarts.com, you know that you've probably seen this t-shirt. It's the only item right now in our Inspirawear collection. It will be having some family members this month, but right now it's the only item available in our Inspirawear collection. Now, I won't go into the description of the Inspirawear collection. You guys can read that stuff online. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into this t-shirt and the symbolism and what everything means. And, you know, I just want to say before I start that, I got some people that sort of hit around and touched on, you know, they shot around the target, but I didn't get a direct bullseye on it. So shout out to those folks that kind of got part of the answer sort of right. I'm going to give it all to you right now. Okay, so let's go right into this, right? Okay, 400 years. I'm gonna zoom in. And you see 400 years, 1619 through 2019. And when I pull back, you see that this is the silhouette of the continent of Africa. Okay, that symbol in and of itself should be, I mean, everybody knows what that is. That's not really symbolism, that's Africa itself. But now, let's get in on the different points of symbolism we talked about. I talked about having 4 of them, and I'm gonna get right into that right here. If you take a look at that 400, get a good look at that. What the zeros are shackles, and there's a chain in between these shackles. So here's the shackle, one wrist shackle, there's another wrist shackle, and these are that's the chains between the shackle. Now, if you pay close attention to what's going on in the middle, that middle link in that chain is broken. The middle link in that chain is broken, okay? So that's the first symbol in this shirt, okay? 400 years. Now, my mom kind of touched on this. She talked about bondage and slavery, and she was pretty much spot on. It's been 400 years of bondage. Now, some people would say, well, you know, the Emancipation Proclamation happened in the 1860s, and, you know, all the slaves were freed. But, you know, the physical bondage was only part of it. The mental bondage has persisted even beyond the Emancipation Proclamation. And, you know, I'm not going to get it all into, you know, any politics or anything like that or theories. If you've got your eyes open and you got an open heart, you know that that bondage, there are 2 types of bondage when you're talking about captivity. There are the chains that bind you physically, and there are the chains on your mind that bind you mentally. So the symbolism of the broken link is symbolizing that, hey, you know what? This is 2019, and that period of 400 years of mental and physical bondage combined is over. Okay, so that's the first symbol. That is why I said that this is, if you've heard me talk about this shirt, the symbolism in here is very powerful. That's a powerful statement right there to see that middle link on that chain broken. Now, I'm gonna go back here and show you the next symbol here. The next symbol is still we're still fixed right there. If you look at the location of the word years, that is pretty much essentially the part of Africa where the Europeans came to collect slaves. And if you were to look at, or captives, I don't even like the word slaves, to be honest. I mean, I know that's a historical way, historical term or whatever, but you know, the truth of that is the captive. Captive to me sounds it sounds more accurate, and you know, you call it slave. I'm not going to get into the word semantics here, whatever. But you know, this was human trafficking. I mean, and we know it's ugly. It has happened all throughout time. But there's something specific about this period right here. Anyway, getting back to this, where that years is located is the part of the continent where the Europeans came from to get the captives and take them back to North America and South America and the Caribbean. Okay. Now, and some actually went to the UK as well. That part is not talked about as much. But the number of captives that went to the UK is minuscule compared to the U.S., or I should say North America proper, and then Central and South America, and of course the Caribbean. So now that's the placement. So that's really the second symbol. The first symbol is the shackles with the broken chain. The second symbol, where years is located, is the section. And you know, if you go and Google a 1700s map of Africa, what you'll find is this area here. They had them. They were actually marked by early cartographers that told you, hey, this is where you got to go to get this. Part of this section here was called the Slave Coast. Another part was called the Gold Coast. And so you can see these things in in some of those early 1700s maps. And we'll talk about some of the other things that you can see in those early 1700s maps as well in just a minute. Now, the next symbol, if you go over here, what you notice is some strange looking characters if you've never seen this character set before, okay? But I don't want to undo the shirt here just to show you the whole thing together. But what you're looking at here, if you've never seen these before, these are actually Hebrew characters, okay? And as you know, or you may not know, Hebrew is written, yeah, that'll work. It's written from left to right. Now, I'll tell you what this means. There was a little bit of error with the at the printer where they didn't. They combined this. This is actually a separate word, but they made it all one word. So that was an error. That error's been fixed moving forward, but it doesn't take away from the beauty of the shirt, okay, or the artwork. Now, I'm gonna come back to this, but let's go over here. Let's see it. Let's fly across the continent here, or across the water, and come here, and that is self-explanatory. That is Talford Arts. That's the name of my company there. So there you have it. So those are the symbols, and now I'll explain those to you. Over here, if you don't know what that says, that is pretty much, that says Talford Arts. It's just written using Hebrew character sets. They have the Hebrew character set. So this is, look, I'm just learning this, so don't beat me up on this, but this is a Tav, this is Aleph, this is Lamed, this is Fe. This is Yod, which is now. Well, I'll go through it in a second here. Yod. This is Resh, and this is Dalet, if I'm not mistaken. And then we got here Aleph again, Resh, Sadi, and then Lamed, Kaf. Okay. Now, basically, it's spelled out. It's kind of not directly translated, almost close. I know some people who are Hebrew students or Hebrew language or speak it, they would probably ding me on this, but so what? Okay, I got some opinions about that, but I'm not going to go into them anyway. Here we go. Talford Arts LLC is what that says. Okay, over here, the name of my company again, Talford Arts. Now you may wonder, and again, Hebrew is written from right to left, and English, of course, is left to right. Now you may be wondering, why does he have his company name in Hebrew, and why is it over there on the left sleeve, and why is his company name here on the right sleeve when on some of his other shirt designs, he has his company name over there in the left sleeve? It's a part of the symbolism. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. So what is not widely, I shouldn't say it's not widely known, what is not widely publicized in the history books is the language spoken by the vast majority of the captives brought from the shores of Africa to this country in 1619. Okay, through my research, what I've learned, just in looking at some overwhelming evidence, is that the language spoken by a large majority of the slaves, not all of them, because some of them actually spoke Arabic too, and that's a conversation for another day. But the language spoken by a large majority of the captives brought to these shores was Hebrew. You can do your research on there. the evidence is there. The evidence is actually in the Bible. It gets skipped over on Sunday afternoons in every church in America. I don't know why, but that has been skipped over for a long time, and that's just something I've learned through 20 years of identity search. So as you guys know the story, well, I'm not going to get all into that. Let me come back. I'll come back to that. So that's Hebrew on the left side, and that's part of the reason why we have that written there in Hebrew. But now here's some placement again. If you look at the continent of Africa, Israel today, the land of Israel, formerly known as the land of Judah, Judea, which it really wasn't Judea either, because there's no J in the J character or J sound in the Hebrew alphabet. That's something that came along at a later time in AD or CE as they call it now. It used to be AD, but now it's Common Era or whatever. But that J sound or whatever is just replacing the Hebrew with the English, or I should say the Roman character set, A B C D E F G H I J K. You know the alphabet, okay? That J sound, I don't know why they replaced the what should have been a Y sound with the J sound, but we're not gonna get into that. Whatever. That land of Judea, Israel, where the 12 tribes were, that today is known as the Middle East. But I mean, if you look at it, it really is Northeast Africa. So it's part of the African continent. Okay, it's not part of Asia. It's part of the African continent. So the relationship to this character set or this Talford Arts LLC on the sleeve is situated northeast of the African continent, or the northeastern part of the African continent, as you can see here. Okay, and then over here is the Talford Arts. It's located northwest of the African continent. Now, follow me here. If the folks here, if the folks that were taken from here, if their original language was Hebrew, if you know your history, you know that these folks were run out of this area in 70 AD, and they escaped down into further into different parts of Africa to escape the persecution by the Romans. The Romans basically went in there and tore the city up. They ransacked Jerusalem, and that was prophesied by Christ to the disciples. A lot of people, they look at the New Testament and they hear this stuff. When you see the what do you call it? The abomination of desolation and all of this, they thought that was talking about some end time in the future that has not happened yet. But if you know your Bible history, you know that he was actually giving them an instruction. He said, hey, listen, flee and pray that your flight's not in winter, okay? That's what he's telling them. He's telling them to run. So what did they run? They ran into Africa, okay? So that's part of what that symbolism stands for there. They went from here, they migrated across here. There's some other history that talks about how some of these folks ended up here. It wasn't all direct. Some of it was from Europe, and you have to do your homework, folks, because this video could be an hour if I went into the history of what happened to those that were scattered from their original homeland, okay? Now, and some of you may have some comments about that. I welcome them. I mean, I've been researching my own identity for the last 20 years, okay? So I've done a lot of homework on this stuff. So anyway, that is that. So that's part of the migration path. They went from there, here. They were captured here, and then taken in this direction. And so they went from speaking Hebrew to speaking English over here in this part of the world. And this is why I have Talford Arts situated here. Normally it goes on the left sleeve, but for this particular project, I wanted some symbolism in here because this does commemorate 400 years of arrival in North America, however we got here, right? I don't want to talk about that again. So anyway, that pretty much summarizes the symbolism in this Talford Arts shirt. I'm going to make this much more concise, or this 400 years commemorative shirt. I'm going to make this much more concise in the written description, and I'll just kind of hit on those points. But those are your symbols, okay? And sorry we didn't get any winners, but again, you have broken shackles here, or shackles with a broken chain. You have the location of where these people were captured from and taken to the United States, taken to North America, which would eventually become the United States, or part of it anyway. Taken here and learned English, had to unlearn their own language, but some of the evidence of that language being spoken in this part of the world back then is still around. It's still around if you know where to look for it, okay? That evidence is still around. And of course, this is just the name of my company using Hebrew characters. So we know why this is on the sleeve now. We know why this is Hebrew. We know why this is on the left sleeve. We know it's because it's situated northeast of this image of Africa. Okay, and this is situated northwest of the image of Africa. This is somewhere where North America would be if you were to look at this shirt, zoom out and look at it as a map. English in this part of the world, Hebrew in that part of the world, okay? They were taken away from here in chains, but at the end of 400 years, this broken chain symbolizes the ending of 400 years of physical and or mental bondage, okay? 1619, the first, I'll say it for this practical reason, slaves arrived in wooden ships to North America and different, and actually that was just the first arrival in North America. Some of you might say, well, hey, you know, they arrived in the Caribbean before that and we're taking different places before. That's not what this is about, okay? That history is true, but this just symbolizes the 400 years that those that are called today Africans that were something else. I'm not going to get all into that. You got to do your own homework. But they were brought here in 1619, and 400 years later, here we are. So anyway, folks, I don't want. I know this symbolism is going to raise probably a lot of other questions and comments, and I welcome those. I just ask you guys to keep it friendly, and you know, there's nothing wrong with a little friendly debate. But you know, so that is pretty much it. I thank you guys for watching, and I am going to wrap this video up after this short break. Okay, family, it's your boy Matt again, and that pretty much summarizes the description or the breakdown of the 400 years commemorative shirt with the symbols, what the symbolism in the artwork means. It's not typical that an artist gives away the meaning of symbolism. That is pretty much something that is left for generations after to try to figure out. It happens in visual art, it happens in literature. But in this one particular case, because you're actually purchasing wearable art, and you know, when you have wearable art, you're walking around and someone might ask you, hey, wow, that's a pretty cool shirt. What does that mean? What is it? I felt the strong need for, and my business team said, Matt, this has to have an explanation that goes with it. And they were 100% right. I wouldn't buy a shirt that was full of symbolism if I didn't know what it meant. Okay, so this is probably my favorite design of all of the wearable art in Talford Arts online bookstore. It just has such deep meaning to me. You know, hearing the stories told by my parents and my grandparents and even my great-grandparents when they were still living, it just continues that rich tradition of the diaspora of passing down these stories or whatever. So the 400 years is you can't really see the broken chain. Now this shirt, some of you might be asking, hey, well, what is that? This is an early prototype. This was something that I did and I wanted to look at in print prior to going back and adding the continent. And so this is the original design. It just had the company name on the left sleeve with the 400 years. But when I got the original design back and looked at it, I said, you know what? This needs to have a little bit more depth and a little bit more meaning. Because there's a number of 400 year shirts out there. I mean, but none of them look like this. Okay, this is a walking map. And it's just it is so symbolic, and there's something about this particular shirt that when I put it on, I feel powerful. It's almost like the ancestors are lifting you up, and they're looking at that broken chains and saying, hey, you know what, we did everything we endured, everything we went through was to get you to where you are. Okay, don't waste it. Don't waste it. So I wear this in remembrance of the ancestors. I wear this in remembrance and acknowledgement of the plight of the people that are called African Americans today. That migrated from, today is African Americans. I mean, at an earlier point in my childhood, it was called Afro Americans, and then it was just it went from Afro American. Before that, it was like Negro, and before that, it was colored, or actually went to colored, then went to Negro, and then, you know, before that. So my quest was to find out what were we called before we were known as Negroes. So I've been reading a lot of world history, and there's some old history books around there, bro. You pretty much aren't going to see them in K-12 classrooms or whatever. You got to have a thirst for this knowledge of finding out who you are, and this journey began for me in 1999. Actually, this journey began for me. I was in tears one day, just thinking about the fact that I have all these great friends from different parts of the world that have a cultural identity that, you know, they could say, hey, you know what, my grandparents came to this country from this place, and here's the language they spoke, or, you know, they didn't speak English, they spoke this. And, you know, it saddened me that the people that look like me, that live in this country, that were born here, that had that history taken away. And that really saddened me, and I was in tears as I prayed. This started as a prayer. Yeah, I don't mind sharing this with you guys. This started as a prayer for me. This started as, Lord God, who am I? Who are we? This can't just be our legacy where we were just brought here to just be in servitude and be treated as second-class citizens. So many of us for so long. Who are we? What are we? You know, and so this began with that prayer. And after that prayer, I began reading the Bible, and it's like God opened my eyes to see scripture that never even had always been there, but never had a spotlight shine on it. So it started with that, and then it moved from there to looking at world history and looking at what happened in different parts of the world, and just the evidence being there, the evidence being there, and having that information unlocked by people who have done research that I respect. So I just consider myself someone who's just used the information that others have done way more research than I have, and in fact I've learned from them. So if you guys want to know about some of these resources where you can find out, you know, some of the things I've learned over the last 20 years, just hit me up in the comments, DM me, whatever, and I'll share some of those things with you guys. I don't mind. But anyway, it's just been 400 years, and it's time for the mental change to come off. We have to know who we are. Okay, if you don't know who you are, you're just going to continue in this vicious cycle of where we've been over the last 400 years. You're just going to continue this vicious cycle. A man who does not know who he is and who has no identity, how can he know where he's going? He's lost. Okay, if somebody, and just to put it in perspective, for I know I got a lot of friends who are not so-called black. Okay. I got a lot of non-black friends who might look at this video and say, well, Matt, you know, what's going on? You know, you had a great career. You're doing well right now. What are you talking about? Let me just put it in perspective for you, okay? And I'll wrap this video up because I didn't want this wrap up to go this long. If someone were to hit you over the head, okay, and then throw you in the back of the plane and fly you into the middle of the wilderness and drop you off and then give you some smelling salts to wake you up and say good luck, and left, what would you do? You got nothing, okay? You don't even know where you are. You don't know where you are. You were taken someplace. You could be 5 miles away from your house and not even know it, okay? Or you could be 400 miles or 1,000 miles, 4,000 miles, whatever, on the other side of the world and not know where you are. What are you going to do? That's where it starts. What are you going to do? Okay? So think about that when you hear people aren't complaining, people aren't saying, well, this, that, yeah, people are doing well or whatever, but the truth is if you don't know who you are and you don't know where you come from, how in the heck can you know where you're headed? Okay? So now, if you take that same man and then someone flies and drops a freaking care package in there that has a book in it that says, this is where we brought you from, here's a map of where you are now, here's how you can get back, or here's how you can get to this place over here, that place, then you can make some stuff happen. But you cannot make that happen until you've been given information that tells you who you are, where you came from, and where you are now. Then you can, once you know who you are, where you came from, and where you are now, you can plot a course for yourself from there. You don't even have to go back home. You can plot a new course for yourself, but you know who you are, and that gives you, there's an element of strength that comes with knowing who you are. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. That being said, listen, get on these shirts. Get on it, okay? Because one, they're going to make you feel powerful, and two, you need to wear these in respect and remembrance of the ancestors. I would, the ancestors, let me tell you something. I believe the ancestors are smiling right now, looking down right now, because they're saying, hey, you know what? The time is up. The time is up. The sacrifices that we made suffering when you take warrior class men and basically, in effect, disarm them and they have the choice to, they have a lot of choices they can make. It takes a lot of strength and humility for a warrior class man to say, I'm going to suffer so that my kids have a better shot. If I go out here and take an L, they don't have a shot behind me. So I got to suffer and endure this so that they can and I got to take my shots where I can get them, and try to make an impact where I can make one, just so that my children can have a shot. It takes a heck of a man to do that, okay? So I got the utmost respect to the spirit of the ancestors, male and female, that endured a lot for a lot of us to get to where we are today. And I believe that they will tell us, don't waste it. So let's find out who we are, people, and let's stop killing each other. Let's stop fighting each other, arguing with each other, and stop speaking bad of each other. You know, say something good. If you can't say something good, then just leave it, okay? Don't. I mean, it's okay to have an opinion, but don't badmouth somebody out on social media, these different platforms that's out there trying to do something, okay? So I think now we have to change our mindset, and that is one of the reasons why I have another piece of wearable art that says nonconformist, because the thing that inspired that design is Romans chapter 12, verse 2, that says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's time for us to renew our mind, okay? That broken chain right there on those shackles, that's not just physical, because the physical chains came off a long time ago. And some of you might argue that the physical chains are still there via the prison industrial complex, but we're not going to talk about that. We know what it is, okay? I think the stronger bondage right now that has been residual is the mental bondage, okay? But those chains are broken. All you got to do is just go get that information, people. I could talk about this all day, but I got to be out. Peace. You know what? It's Matt again. Hey, you know, I got so into the subject matter of the explanation of symbolism that I completely forgot to talk about what we're going to do with this shirt, okay? I'm going to keep this real simple. So if you are watching this, today is May the 7th, okay? I'm going to accept, hey, Matt, I'm going to accept requests for this shirt through May 8th, which is Wednesday. So on Thursday, May the 9th, I won't take any more requests. Basically, it's real simple. If you want this shirt, I got to tell you, this shirt is a small. It's an adult small. So, and these shirts they fit per, you know, they fit right. I don't know if the correct term to use there is, but they're not. You don't have to go up a size or go down a size. These are true fit shirts. Okay, this is printed on high quality cotton by a reputable brand, and so we've curated only the finest shirt that we could come up with, that our team decided on, and this is a very high quality jersey cut. When I say jersey cut, it's not the typical. I'll try to zoom down here for you, but this may not give it any justice. But this shirt is it's cotton. It's a cotton T-shirt, but it fits. It almost fits like a jersey, but not like that oversized jersey. It's like a jersey. It's the closest thing I can give it. It doesn't fit like an undershirt, like a lot of the T-shirts that you get when you go into like a beach shop or something like that, where you're dealing with a low quality shirt, cheap, $2 for $10, whatever. No, this isn't that. This is a high quality shirt, okay? Anything that we're going to put our artwork on, we're going to put our branding on, it's got to be high quality, and that is our standard at Talford Arts. So that being said, if you want the shirt that we used in the example, and you may want it as a collector's item, you may want to keep it, pass it down as an heirloom. Say, hey, you know what? This is the shirt that Matt Talford used in his explanation, and it may have some type of value there for you down the road. Anyway, it's an adult small, and if you want it, all you got to do is say, Matt, I want that shirt. Just answer in the comments. If you're looking at this on YouTube or Facebook, just say, Matt, I want that shirt, and let me know between today, which is May the 7th, and tomorrow, May 8th. May 9th, I am going to cut it off, and I'm basically going to take everybody that said they want that shirt, and I got a random number generator. I'm going to assign a number to them. I've got a random number generator on my phone, so I'm just going to randomly pick somebody, and you're going to get this shirt sent to you absolutely free. We'll contact you, and we'll actually pay for the shipping as well. So we'll contact you and say, hey, congratulations, you won this shirt. For those of you that don't win it, or small is not your size, this shirt is also available in small. These are adult sizes: small, medium, large, extra large, 2X, and 3X. And this is a unisex shirt, so they work for men or women. We've had men and women wear this shirt and purchase this shirt. So that I also want to let you know that if you go to my website, www.talfordarts.com, and you click on my Inspirawear collection, what you'll see is that this shirt is available in 3 colors. It's available in white, which you saw, It is available in black with white ink. Not this one. I mean, this is a prototype, as I said in another video. The regular one has the continent silhouette of Africa, and then the Hebrew on one sleeve, the English on one sleeve, Hebrew on the other. So it's the same shirt, but it's in black with white ink. And we also have a special edition ladies pink. So I wanted to do something special for the ladies. I got a bunch of requests saying, hey, do you have this in pink? I want this shirt, but I want it in pink. And we heard you. So we have produced a ladies special edition pink for that shirt as well. And you can get these shirts at www.talfordarts. I'll put a link in the description. www.talfordarts.com. And just go there and click on the Insperwear collection and place your order. These shirts are they're produced and shipped twice a month, and that is due to the volume of orders that we get. So in order to keep up, we just take those orders and we produce them twice a month. And you can look at those cutoff dates when you go to order this shirt. So also, just so you know, if we've got any available extras in stock, we will ship those out before the cutoff, before our normal shipping date. So that's just something that we do as a courtesy to you for being such a valued customer. So thank you so much. That is what I had to say about the shirt and what we're going to do with it. I got excited and got carried away. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Hope you learned something. A lot of the stuff I didn't know until I started researching it. So, and if you got any questions, hit me up. Peace.